Hey everyone, Gabriel here, and in this video I'm going to be doing a case study on one of my dropshipping stores that's done over $1 million in sales in just under 5 months. So I'm going to be taking you through how I selected the product, how I ran the ads, and how I managed to stay consistent as the niche was getting more and more competitive. So first off, let me just show you some proof. So I'm going to go all the way back to July, which is when I started the store, and then until the end of November. So that's 5 months, and it's going to load the data right now, so this is obviously not fake. There you go. So 1.032 million since July 21st. So more like 4 months, not really 5, but I just said 5 so we're all clear. So as you can see, this store has been doing really well. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be taking you through a profit and loss statement to show you how much I actually profited off of this 1 million, because obviously it's not all profit, and I want to be as much as transparent as possible with you guys, so that you don't have unrealistic expectations when you go into the dropshipping business, because in order to achieve numbers like this, you obviously need to spend a lot of money. So I hope that you guys enjoy the P&L breakdown at the end of the video, because I haven't seen anyone else share that information with their subscribers. So without further ado, let's get right into the content. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about the product, how I found it, and why I decided to test it. This is a one product dropshipping store, and 99% of sales came from just one product. So obviously picking the right product played a really important part in the success of this store. If you haven't yet, I definitely recommend that you watch my free course video on my channel. It's sort of a part 1 to this video because I'm talking about the same store, just different topics. So in that video, I kind of cover the whole one product dropshipping store strategy that I use. And in this video, I'm going to be focusing more on what type of product works well, how I run my ads, and how I managed to stay consistent. And the special part about this video too is that I'm going to be showing you guys the profit and loss statement at the end of the video. So yeah, definitely watch that video first and come back to this one after. So the product itself solves a problem, and it has a very large target market. And that second part is really important. So solving a problem is really important, but if it solves a problem that only is very specific and only so many people are affected by that problem, it's going to be hard to scale it, right? Versus a product that solves a very broad problem that affects a lot of people. Like, for example, teeth whitening is a great example, right? A lot of people have yellow teeth, and the target market for that is massive. So you want a problem that has a very large target market, and those are the products that you can scale the most. Another thing is that this product was very competitive even when I started. It already had over 15,000 orders on AliExpress, which a lot of people would consider saturated, right? To me, that was more of a sign that there was a lot of demand for this product, and so that didn't scare me away. So when you see a lot of orders on a product, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's saturated and that you can't make money from it, right? It just means that there's a lot of demand, a lot of people want it. So it's honestly a good sign if you see that many orders on a product. How I found the product is actually through E-Comm Hunt. E-Comm Hunt is my favorite product research tool. I have a link in the description if you're interested. And I was going through the older pages and I saw this product and I saw that it solved a problem and it had a very large target market, right? So instantly I was like, this product probably does really well. Then I went ahead and I went on Google Trends and I saw the start of an uptrend. So it was a really good time to get in for this product. And so I decided to test it right away with Facebook ads. So once I found the product and I decided to test it, the next step was to find my competitors so that I could model what they were doing except do it better. So what I did to do this is I searched for the product name on Adespresso. If you don't know what Adespresso is, it's a website about Facebook ads, and they have a tool that allows you to find competitor ads, and I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, I went to Adespresso and I searched the product name and I found an ad for it from a few months back with about 5 million views, and that to me was another confirmation that the product was doing really well. I saw in the comments there was a lot of engagement, everyone wanted it, and so this was a really good sign for me. And what I did was that I made my own ad modeling that one, except I tried to make it better. So I found some clips from YouTube and I split them up and I put them together with Animoto, which is a video editor. I talk about how I make ads with Animoto in one of my videos, so you should definitely check that out. And yeah, so I made my own ad modeling the one that I found, and right away I started testing it with what I call the quick testing strategy. So I talk about this strategy in a few of my other videos, but basically what this strategy entails is that you want to run a PPE campaign to a really broad audience. So in this case, what I did was I literally ran a PPE campaign to all 18 to 55 men and women worldwide, no detail targeting. And what this allowed me to do is get really cheap engagement at a low cost. Facebook is able to optimize to whatever demographic is performing the best. And what this does is that I'm getting a lot of engagement really cheap. And then this gives me social proof and it also gives me video views. And the important part here is to get the video views, because once I get the video views, I can build a 95% video viewers custom audience and then build some lookalike audiences from that. So it's a really easy lookalike audience to test, because it's easy to get enough views to build a custom audience and then build a lookalike audience from it. So I ran this PPE campaign till I got about 100,000 views on the ad, and then I built the 95% video viewers lookalike audiences for the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. And as I wrote here, I tested the 1%, 1 to 2%, and 2 to 5% for the US, 2%, 2 to 5, and 5 to 10% for the UK, Canada, and Australia. And that's why I launched the test for this product. So a lot of people ask what my testing method is. This is usually what I do. I just run a PPE campaign, get enough video views, and then build some lookalikes from that. And usually it works really well. If you have a good product, it might not be profitable right away, but usually if it's a good product, you'll get a few sales, and it's enough to get you started and to start optimizing with. So this is how I started testing this product. So like I said, with this quick testing strategy, you're not always going to be profitable right away, but the way you need to think of it is that you're buying data, you're not losing money. And so in this case, it took me 3 days to become profitable. And this is usually what results look like for me. It's not profitable right away. At the start, I'm losing money, but I'm buying data. And then once I have that data, I can follow what the data is telling me and then optimize towards that and start scaling that way. So I'm actually going to show you day by day what the first 3 days looked like, so you get an idea of what I was seeing on my end. So this was July 20th before I started running ads, and then July 21st was the first day. So on that day, I spent $278 and only made 138 back, so 0.5 ROAS, which wasn't good, but I was seeing that really broad audiences were already being profitable, and this was telling me that, this is a good product. I just need to narrow down my targeting and figure out the right audience. But to me, just even getting a 0.5 ROAS on the first day, that's a good sign, because I'm already getting some sales on the first day when I'm just trying to figure out who my audience is. So let's see what happened on the next day. On the 22nd. So then at this point, I was creating more lookalike audiences, killing what wasn't working. And as you can see, the ROAS got a little bit better, and I'm spending more. So it went from 0.5 to 1.45. And then if I go to the next day, you can see it got a lot better again, and the budget went up. So now we're spending 1.5K, and the ROAS is 1.76. So you guys get the idea. And then I was just creating a lot of lookalikes from all the data that I had at this point, and trying to figure out what works and killing what doesn't work. And I did this consistently, so I'm just going to keep going. So a little bit of a drawback, but you have to consider that I'm scaling at the same time, right? So the more you scale, it's harder to maintain profitable. So I was scaling and then killing what wasn't working. So I'm going to keep going, the 25th. So again, 3.4K spent, 1.74. So it's getting a little bit better, and I'm starting to figure out what's working at the same time I'm scaling my ad spend. So now July 26th, I really scaled my ad spend to 5.4K, and now the ROAS is 1.96. And this was really profitable for this store. The break-even ROAS was 1.5, 1.6-ish. So with this ROAS, I was making about 20-25% profit on the 10K. So that's about $2,000 a day, which really isn't bad. So this is why I recommend beginners to stay away from Facebook ads, because in my experience, you need to spend a lot of money to get started. So if you only have like $200 to get started, in my opinion, it's not enough to start running Facebook ads, because it's not enough to properly test your audiences. Some people make it work with like $5 ad sets and that type of thing. It's personally just not the strategy that I use, and I haven't had experience with that. So yeah, that's why I recommend having some budget to start out with Facebook ads, because when you're starting out, you're losing money, and then you start figuring out what works and doubling down on that, and that's when you can really become profitable and scale. Now I want to talk a little bit about consistency and how I managed to stay consistent over the 5 months. And this is really important. A lot of people will find a winning product and they'll make it work for about a month, and then it'll die out, and then they'll try to find the next thing. But it's possible to stay consistent with just one product if you follow these tips. So number one is that you want to be consistently introducing new creatives. And by creatives, I mean new ads. And this is really important. Ad fatigue is when an ad stops performing well because it's been seen too much, and Facebook just doesn't distribute it as much, it doesn't get as much reach. And this happens all the time. Like if you're using the same creative for over a month, it's not going to do as well anymore. And that's just fact. So you definitely need to keep introducing new creatives. And if you don't, your creative is going to burn out and your product will no longer be profitable. So what I did is I sent the product to 5 people on Fiverr to get content made according to my needs. So I told them exactly what I wanted to do with the product, and they recorded these clips, and then I use those clips to make different ads on Animoto. And over those 5 months, I ended up testing over 20 video variations for my main video ads for cold traffic. And so testing all these different variations and introducing new creatives every month at least. It's better to do it like weekly or every 2 weeks. You definitely want to keep introducing these new creatives and keep testing new things in order to stay on top of things and to fight ad fatigue, to make sure that you're getting the best possible deal for your money in terms of acquiring customers. Now, another thing that you want to really keep in mind is that scroll stoppers are the most important thing with your video. And let me explain what I mean by scroll stopper. Basically, what I mean by scroll stopper is the first 3 seconds of your video. When someone's scrolling down their feed, because most people go on social media on mobile, and they're just scrolling at full speed down their feed, and you need to have something right away in the first like 2-3 seconds that catches their attention, or else they're just going to keep scrolling and they're not going to engage with your ad. And this is the main thing that you want to test, because if you have a good scroll stopper, it's going to be a difference between a really, really high CPM and a low CPM, which allows you to be profitable. So this is the main thing that I tested in my variations. Obviously, I tested more than that, but the main thing I tested was just the first 3 seconds, and I kept testing different scroll stoppers, right? So you could have an ad that was working really well last month, and then it kind of died off this month. You don't have to change the whole ad. You could literally just test a new scroll stopper, so a new first 3 seconds in front of the ad, and then that could make that ad very profitable again. So testing scroll stoppers was a major point for the success of this store consistently. Another important tip to stay consistent is to use different creatives for retargeting. You don't always want to show the same ad to the people going through your funnel. You want to show them different ads so that they start trusting your business, and that they don't feel like they're being spammed with the same ad over and over again. So you definitely want to show different ads based on where they are in the funnel, and this is really important, and this will also decrease ad fatigue. If you always show the same ad, your ads are going to get fatigued a lot faster, and it's just Facebook doesn't like that. So use different ads for retargeting, and you can use the same ad, but don't only use that ad. You also want to mix it up. And what I find works really well is using image ads for retargeting. Image ads for cold traffic usually don't work as well for me, but using them for retargeting people who are already aware of your product and of your brand, it usually works great for retargeting. Another thing is you can use like testimonials, so like an image with a review from a customer or something like that. Those type of ads work great for retargeting. Don't just use the same video ad that you're using for cold traffic for all your retargeting audiences. Now, another thing that I wrote here is this is just a breakdown of the percentages of how I was splitting up my budget on Facebook. Now, this is not an exact thing that you should do. You don't have to measure this, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how I was spending my money. So 45% of my ad spend went into lookalike audiences. So the main thing that I was spending on was lookalike audiences. 23% was broad interests, and 32% was retargeting. So about a third of my ad spend went into retargeting. So that gives you an idea of how much you should be retargeting, because those will give you the easiest profits. So over time, this product was getting more and more competitive. A lot of people were even copying my stores, things like that. But the reason that I was able to keep dominating was that I continuously made new ads. And this is really what sets you apart from the rest of dropshippers. Most dropshippers will not make their own content. They will literally just copy people's ads and run that until it stops working, and then they're like, oh, this product is dead. And that's not how it works. You have to keep making new ads, and this will allow you to get an edge on your competitors and to keep doing well with the product over a long period of time. So for this product, I'm still selling it, and I'm still making new ads for it. And this will allow me to keep selling it for a long time. Now, another thing is that you want to kill poor performing ad sets every day and create new ones similar to the top performing ones. And this is really important. You don't want to just let your ad sets be run by themselves until they die, then just kill them, because you're not going to be able to maintain a high ad spend. You need to continuously check on your ad sets, kill the ones that aren't performing, and create new ones. And I talk a lot about this in my other Facebook ad videos. Like, this isn't a Facebook ad video, so I'm not going to be going too in depth about this, but it's an important point. If you're trying to stay consistent, you need to keep optimizing your ads. So now the part that you've all been waiting for: how much profit did I actually make on the $1 million in sales? Well, the answer is that net profit was around 19.8%, including all fees and expenses. The biggest expense by far was advertising. Second was cost of goods sold. And I'm going to get into the detailed profit and loss statement in a few seconds. But I just want to say that this business isn't for people who are scared to spend money. And this is something that I see a lot, especially like in my comments. When I read the comments, I get a lot of comments saying like, only 20% profit, this type of thing. And it's, 20% is really not a bad profit margin at all, especially when you're scaling. You can't expect to just, spend like $10 and make back 1,000. That's not how it works. It's a really competitive business, and you need to spend money in order to make money. So that's just something that I wanted to put out there. If this is you, you need to get comfortable with spending money if you want to last long term with this business, because ad costs are only going to keep increasing and it's only going to keep getting harder. So here's the detailed profit and loss statement for the store. I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and you can see. So I filled in from July to November, which was the 1.03 million in sales, as you can see. And the cost of goods sold was about 30% here, so 316,000. And so the gross profit was 716,000 before ads. Now, the main expense here was Facebook ads, as you can see, 416,000. So, a lot was spent on Facebook ads. Now, I also spent on some Instagram influencer ads, so that's for about $38.6 thousand. Google ads, 11.6 thousand. These are payment processor fees, so 38.6 thousand. My apps on Shopify, so it actually adds up when you look at it. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but it does add up to a hefty amount. So 1.6K on apps. My Shopify plan added up to $345, and then my VAs 4.97 thousand. So my total expenses come to about 511,000, and the net profit comes to about 204,000, which is 19.8%. So there you have it. That's the detailed profit and loss statement. And as you can see, I'm spending a lot. I had to spend 511,000 in expenses plus 316,000 in cost of goods sold. So you have to spend a lot in order to make a lot. And to people who say only 20%, 20% of $1 million really isn't bad over 5 months. So I'm not complaining with 20% margins, and neither should you, because if you have 20% margins and you can scale, even if you have 10% margins and you can scale, you can still make a lot of money. So you shouldn't really care about low profit margins if it's profitable and you're able to stay consistent with it. Alright everyone, so that is pretty much it for this case study. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked seeing the profit and loss statement at the end of the video, because not a lot of people show that, and I'm sure that it's going to be really insightful for you guys to get an idea of what the expenses look like when you're scaling a dropshipping store. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I drop videos like this one all the time, and I would really appreciate it. And make sure to leave a like below. Lastly, if you haven't yet, make sure to join my mastermind group on Facebook. We're closing in on 4,000 members, and it's extremely valuable. If you have any question, you can ask it in there, and we have a lot of active people who will reply to you. So on that note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.